When life breaks you, it rarely feels like a process of transformation. It feels like an ending. The plans you built, the dreams you held, the security you once relied on suddenly fracture, and you are left holding pieces that no longer seem to fit. Yet history, nature, and the human soul all testify to a hidden truth. Breaking is often the necessary doorway to becoming something greater. Look at the seed. It must split open, lose its form, and surrender to the soil before it can sprout into new life. The shell that once protected it must be destroyed for growth to begin. So it is with us. The shell of who you once were must sometimes be broken for the next version of you to emerge. Transformation does not come in the comfort of certainty. It comes in the disruption of what you thought you knew. A sculptor cannot reveal the beauty hidden in the stone without first striking it, chiseling away what does not belong. Each strike may seem harsh, even destructive, but with each blow, the vision becomes clearer, the form more defined. In your own life, the blows you endure are not random. They are shaping you, removing what no longer serves your purpose. In moments of breaking, your perspective is often clouded by pain. It is easy to believe that everything is falling apart, when in truth, certain things must fall apart so the right things can come together. You may see only loss, but the deeper reality is that you are being released from what could never carry you into your destiny. That relationship that ended, that opportunity that closed, that plan that collapsed, they may have been the very walls keeping you from the horizon you were meant to reach. Breaking is rarely gentle. It challenges your pride, strips away your control, and tests your endurance. But in doing so, it opens space for qualities that cannot be learned in easy seasons. Patience grows when you can no longer rush the process. Compassion deepens when you understand pain firsthand. Resilience takes root when you have no choice but to stand again after falling. It is important to remember that transformation is not instant. The seed does not sprout the moment it cracks. The caterpillar does not emerge as a butterfly the moment it enters the cocoon. There is a period of darkness, of uncertainty, where nothing seems to be happening. This is where many give up, believing the breaking was meaningless. But beneath the surface, in the unseen places, change is taking shape. The new form is being prepared. When you are in the midst of breaking, do not measure your life by the fragments in your hands. Measure it by the truth that breaking is not destruction in disguise. One day, you will look back and realize that the moments which seemed to shatter you were the very ones that allowed you to become who you were meant to be. And in that realization, you will see that the breaking was never the end. It was the beginning. Pain has a way of reaching places in you that nothing else can touch. It strips away the surface layers and exposes the hidden chambers of the heart, places you may not have even known existed. Comfort can keep those places sealed, undisturbed, and untouched for years. But when pain arrives, it knocks on those locked doors and demands that you face what lies within. It is uncomfortable, even frightening, but it is also the beginning of deep learning. Pain is a teacher, and though its lessons are rarely welcomed, they are often the ones that stay with you for life. When you are in the middle of pain, you may be tempted to see it as only an intruder, a thief that has come to take what is yours. But what if, in truth, pain comes carrying a gift you cannot yet see? It may strip you of certain things, but it replaces them with something of far greater value. It teaches you endurance when the road feels too long. It teaches you compassion for others who suffer. It teaches you to cling to what truly matters and to let go of what never did. In the absence of struggle, we often cling to illusions. We believe we have control over our future. We believe the structures we've built around us will always hold. We believe our hearts are unshakable. Pain steps in and quietly dismantles these illusions. It reminds us that life is fragile, that control is often an illusion, and that even the strongest can be brought low. This humbling is not cruelty. It is clarity. For in losing what is false, we make space for what is true. Think of metal placed into fire. The heat does not destroy it. It refines it, burning away impurities that would have weakened it in time. Without the fire, those flaws would remain hidden, only to fail when tested under pressure. In the same way, pain reveals what is weak or harmful in us, not to shame us, but to give us the opportunity to be remade stronger. Pain also sharpens perspective. Before the breaking, small inconveniences could feel like disasters, but after walking through true loss or hardship, you see life differently. Suddenly, the petty frustrations no longer have the power to shake you. You stop wasting your energy on things that don't matter. You begin to cherish moments of peace, the presence of loved ones, and the simple gift of another day. Though it often arrives uninvited, pain can be the very thing that turns you toward the path you were meant to walk. It can push you to change, to grow, to step into a version of yourself that you never would have discovered otherwise. And when you finally emerge from its grasp, you will not be the same. And that is the point. Pain's purpose is not to leave you broken, but to awaken you to the strength, wisdom, and depth that were always waiting within. There comes a point in life when all your efforts to hold everything together seem to fail. You try to control the outcome, to keep your plans intact, to force situations to bend to your will. But the more you struggle, the more things slip through your fingers. It is in these moments that you begin to understand the necessity of surrender. Surrender is not about giving up. It is about letting go of the illusion that you are the sole author of your life story. It is realizing that there are forces greater than you, plans larger than your understanding, and a timing that is often beyond your control. We live in a world that celebrates self-reliance, determination, and pushing through no matter what. These qualities have value, but there comes a season when the strongest thing you can do is stop fighting against what is and start working with it. Just as a tree bends with the wind to avoid breaking, there are times when you must bend with life's changes instead of resisting. It may feel like weakness, but in truth, it takes profound strength to release control and trust that you are being led somewhere purposeful, even when the path ahead is unclear. Surrender does not mean you stop caring. It means you acknowledge that you cannot dictate every detail. You still move forward, you still make choices, but you stop clinging so tightly that your own hands become a prison. The clenched fist cannot receive. Only an open hand can. When you loosen your grip, you make room for the unexpected blessings, the unforeseen opportunities, and the quiet miracles that would never fit into your carefully scripted plans. This season of surrender often comes after breaking. You resist at first, you try to rebuild exactly what was lost to recreate the life you had before. But eventually you realize that the pieces will never fit the same way again. That realization is not defeat, it is freedom. It means you no longer have to force what is not meant to be. You can release the weight of trying to make life match your old picture and instead open yourself to the new picture being painted before you. It is in surrender that peace begins to take root. Not because the circumstances have suddenly changed, but because your heart has. You are no longer in a constant battle against reality. You begin to see that some doors close to protect you, some delays are preparing you, and some endings are necessary beginnings in disguise. Surrender transforms your posture toward life. You move from striving to trusting, from anxiety to expectancy. You begin to understand that the one who allows the breaking also holds the plan for your rebuild. And in that understanding, you find a strength deeper than self-reliance, a strength rooted in the quiet confidence that you are exactly where you need to be, even if you cannot yet see why. When life shatters something you hold dear, your first instinct is often to see only the loss. You mourn what is gone, and your heart aches for what once was. It can feel as though the breaking has stolen something irreplaceable, leaving only emptiness in its place. But if you look closer, if you allow time and perspective to do their work, you may find that hidden within those shattered moments is a blessing you could not have received any other way. Loss has a way of refining your sight. It strips away the distractions, the noise, and the false securities that once claimed your attention. You begin to see what truly matters and what never really did. The things you once thought you couldn't live without may reveal themselves to be chains holding you back. The relationships that ended may have been keeping you from growing into the fullness of who you are meant to be. The opportunities that slipped away may have been leading you down a road that was never yours to travel. Hidden blessings rarely announce themselves in the moment of breaking. At first, all you feel is the absence, the empty seat at the table, the silence where laughter used to be, the dream that now feels out of reach. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, new life begins to emerge from the ashes. A door opens that you never would have considered if the first one had stayed shut. A strength rises within you that you didn't know you possessed. A depth of empathy takes root because you now understand pain in a way you never did before. Consider the pearl. It is formed when an irritant enters the shell of an oyster. The oyster cannot remove it, so it begins to coat it layer by layer, transforming what was once a source of discomfort into something of great value and beauty. In much the same way, life can take the grit of your hardships and transform them into wisdom, character, and resilience, treasures that cannot be stolen and that will serve you for the rest of your journey. Sometimes what feels like a detour is actually a rescue. The job you didn't get may save you from years of frustration in a place you were never meant to be. The person who left may make space for someone who will love you more deeply and faithfully. The failure that embarrassed you may be the very experience that prepares you for the success you will one day hold with gratitude instead of pride. The hidden blessing is not always in what you gain. It is often in what you become. You emerge from the breaking with eyes that see more clearly, a heart that loves more deeply, and a soul that understands the fragility and beauty of life. And when you look back, you will realize that the loss was never just a loss. It was the beginning of something far greater than you could have imagined at the time. Hardship has a way of burning through your life like a fire. And in the moment, all you can see are the flames. The heat feels unbearable, and you wonder how much more you can endure. Yet fire, though destructive in appearance, also has a refining power. In the natural world, fire clears away what is dead so that new growth can emerge. In the refining of gold, fire melts the metal, separating the pure from the impure. In the same way, life's trials strip away what is false, temporary, or unworthy, revealing the truth of who you are and what you carry within. When you face hardship, your first instinct may be to shield yourself, to protect every part of your life from being touched by the flames. But there are seasons when the very things you are trying to protect are the things that need to go. Pride that has taken root in your heart, fear that has been dictating your decisions, bitterness that has been quietly poisoning your soul. These are impurities that often remain hidden until the heat of trial brings them to the surface. In times of ease, you can overlook these things. Comfort has a way of letting flaws go unchecked because nothing is pressuring them to rise. But when life grows difficult, when pressure mounts and expectations crumble, what is inside will always come out. If anger is hiding in your heart, it will emerge. If faith is buried within you, it will also rise to the surface. Hardship doesn't just reveal your weaknesses, it also reveals your strengths, some of which you may not have realized you possessed. A refining is not a momentary process. Gold is not purified with a brief touch of flame. It must stay in the heat long enough for the impurities to separate and be removed. Likewise, the trials you face may not pass as quickly as you wish. You may wonder why the struggle lingers, but often the lasting change you seek is forged in the endurance of that struggle. It is in the waiting, the persevering, the depth of character and clarity of purpose are formed. There is also beauty in what remains after the refining. Just as refined gold shines with a brilliance that was hidden before, you too will emerge with a purity of spirit, a clearer vision, and a stronger foundation. You will know, perhaps for the first time, what truly matters and what you can live without. You will have a resilience that cannot be manufactured in ease, only earned in fire. So when the flames of hardship touch your life, do not assume they have come to destroy you. They may have come to prepare you. They may have come to set you free from the weight of things you were never meant to carry. And when you emerge from the refining, you will not be the same. You will be something better, something truer, something stronger than you ever imagined. Perspective is one of the most powerful tools you possess, and yet it is often the first thing to slip away when hardship comes. When tragedy strikes or life seems to crumble around you, your vision narrows. All you can see is the problem, the loss, the disappointment. It becomes the lens through which you view everything else. But what if in those moments you could shift your perspective? What if you could step back far enough to see that what feels like the end may in fact be the turning point? Perspective changes everything because it changes the meaning you give to your experience. Two people can face the same storm. One sees only destruction, the other sees the possibility of rebuilding something better. The difference is not in the circumstances, but in the way they choose to see them. When your perspective shifts from a "why is this happening to me?" to "what is this making of me?" You move from being a victim of your circumstances to an active participant in your transformation. Life is filled with moments that at first seem unfair or senseless. The door that slammed shut when you were ready to walk through it. The relationship that ended when you thought it would last forever. The sudden change that forced you out of your comfort zone. In the moment, these things feel like obstacles designed to hold you back. But with time, many look back and realize those very obstacles were actually guiding them toward a better path. Changing your perspective does not mean denying your pain or pretending everything is fine. It means choosing to see beyond the pain. It means asking, oh, what can I learn from this? What strengths is this drawing out of me? What future could this be preparing me for? By doing this, you take back the power that hardship tries to steal from you. History is filled with examples of people who turned their greatest setbacks into their greatest breakthroughs simply because they chose a different perspective. They refused to let the breaking define them. Instead, they let it refine them. They saw the challenge not as the final chapter, but as the plot twist that would make the story worth telling. When you adopt a higher perspective, you begin to see patterns and purpose, where before you saw only chaos. You recognize that not every loss is meant to be replaced. Some are meant to make space for something entirely new. You understand that even unanswered questions can be a form of guidance leading you toward trust rather than certainty. Your perspective is your anchor in the storm. It determines whether you are tossed endlessly by the waves or whether you use them to carry you to new shores. And when you learn to look at life through the lens of possibility rather than limitation, you will find that even the darkest moments contain seeds of hope, waiting for you to see them, nurture them, and let them grow. Rebuilding after being broken is one of the most challenging and yet most powerful journeys a person can undertake. When life tears something down, whether it is a dream, a relationship, a career, or even a sense of identity, it leaves behind a space that feels empty and unfamiliar. In that emptiness, it is easy to feel lost, as though the best parts of your life are behind you. But rebuilding is not about going back to what was. It is about creating something stronger, deeper, and more aligned with who you have become through the breaking. The first step in rebuilding is accepting that the foundation must be new. Trying to stack new hopes on top of old wounds will only cause the structure to collapse again. Just as a wise builder clears away the rubble before constructing anew, you must be willing to let go of what cannot be repaired. This is not about forgetting, but about making peace with the fact that the past cannot be relived. Only then can you lay the first brick of the future. Rebuilding takes patience. It is tempting to rush the process to force life to look normal again as quickly as possible. But lasting restoration does not come from speed. It comes from careful, intentional steps. Each day you choose hope over despair. Each time you choose to stand when you could stay down, you are placing another stone in the structure of your future. Along the way, you will find that hope is your greatest tool. Hope is not wishful thinking. It is the steady belief that what lies ahead can be better than what was lost. Hope allows you to endure the slow progress, the setbacks, and the days when you cannot yet see the full picture. It reminds you that the pain that broke you will not be the final word over your life. Rebuilding also allows you to incorporate the lessons learned in the breaking. You are no longer the same person you were before. You carry wisdom, resilience, and a sharper understanding of what truly matters. The new life you create can reflect that growth. You can build boundaries where before you allowed harm. You can plant relationships in soil rich with mutual respect and trust. You can pursue goals that align with your deeper values rather than shallow ambition. One day you will look at what you have built and realize it is not just a replacement for what was lost. It is something entirely new, something you may not have dared to imagine before the breaking. And perhaps most importantly, you will recognize the strength within you that made it possible. The breaking may have felt like an ending, but rebuilding reveals it was a beginning. The pieces you gather now are not remnants of a ruined life. They are the materials for a masterpiece. And as you keep building brick by brick, you will discover that your story is not about how you fell apart, but about how you rose again, stronger than ever.